In 1620, while the Mayflower was in Provincetown, 18 of its men sailed in a small shallop, searching for a place to live. They came to present-day Eastham, where they were met by a group of Nauset. After a brief but violent encounter, the English left towards today's Plymouth. In 2020, we remember this first encounter. We explore its meanings for today and tomorrow. Welcome back to the Sunset Series. My name is Joanna Hollick, and I'm the coordinator of the Sunset Series. I'm here today with Danielle Jeanloz. She is the executive director of the Atwood Museum. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. Could you start by telling us what the Atwood Museum is?
Yes, certainly. The Atwood Museum is a museum in Chatham, Massachusetts. We are owned by the Chatham Historical Society. The museum's been around for 97 years. Actually, the society has been. It started with the old Atwood House, which is a sea captain's house, and then we added on to the museum. And now we actually have 14 exhibits in 12 galleries. We have a couple of buildings. We've expanded quite a bit over the years.
That's wonderful. And I understand that one of the things that you're doing this summer is in commemoration of the 400th anniversary. Could you tell us a little bit about what that exhibit is?
Certainly. We developed an exhibit this year to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower called The Turning Point. Now, the turning point for us has a couple of different meanings. One is the Mayflower side, and the other is the Wampanoag side. So 400 years ago, when the Mayflower came and finally got to land in November, I got to do that part over.
That's
Sorry.
Okay.
So 400 years ago, when the Mayflower finally got to the area, the ship itself wasn't able to land because they were trying to get south of New York to the mid-Atlantic area. What happened is that the Mayflower got to the Chatham area, and if anybody has sailed around Chatham, you will know how dangerous the waters are. It's really, really tough. As a matter of fact, we've had a lot of shipwrecks there. So the Mayflower was really struggling in front of the Chatham area, actually in an area called the Pollock Rip. And finally, after struggling for a day or so, had to turn around and go back north and wasn't able to continue and to complete its journey all the way down south. So that was a major turning point for the Mayflower. Well, at the same time, the European settlers, when they finally landed in Provincetown and eventually got to Plymouth, settled in the area, and eventually the Cape got settled. Well, those settlers, when they finally got to Chatham in our area, there were Wampanoags there. And so the settlers that came actually were a turning point for the Wampanoags as well. So what we thought we would do is talk about not only the Mayflower journey and the European settlers, but also the Wampanoags, who were the people of the first light. Now, Champlain had already come to our shores in Chatham in 1606. So by 1620, presumably the Wampanoags had already had explorers and saw people, but this was a major turning point for them as well. So we were really thought it was important to tell both sides of the story, and that's what we've done. Now, our exhibit itself has multiple components. So we have a timeline of the settling and the Mayflower journey and coming over. And then we also have a Wampanoag timeline. So we have, again, split on two sides. We talk about the hardships on the Mayflower. And then we also have a genealogical component and also talk about the families that came over on the Mayflower. It's well known that when the Mayflower left, there were about 105, 110 people. After the first year, there were only 55 people left. So we talk about some of the people and the families and the impact of those settlers coming to the United States. So we talk about that. On the Wampanoag side, we have some artifacts that we show. We also talk about how the Wampanoags helped the early settlers. and also how they lived. Their culture. We're trying to learn more about them. It's very important. So we have information about a Wetu, which is a Wampanoag dwelling, and then we have actually had the Wampanoags build a Wetu outside of our museum. So that's really the exhibit in a nutshell.
It sounds like you have a wonderful array of information and things to see at this exhibit. And I also think it's so interesting how you've incorporated both sides of this, which is something here at Eastham 400 that we're also focusing on. And if you're interested in seeing the Wetu that the Atwood Museum has commissioned to be built, we do have an episode on that as well here on the Sunset series. Could you tell us a little bit more about this Wetu and what was the process and the inspiration for getting this built in Chatham?
Well, we were very excited about being able to tell the Wampanoag story, and so we reached out to the community, the Wampanoag community, and reached out both to Plymouth, Mashpee, found out more about, also talked to some of the Wampanoag that are still in our community, and they were all very enthusiastic about our being able to tell the story in their language, in their ways. And that's what we want to do, is develop programs centered around what the way they lived and share their story through their words. And so we actually were able to contract David Whedon, who is part of your series, and he has a great reputation of building both at Plymouth, and he's been wonderful, he and his son, in building the Wetu. We do have more information about the Wetu on our website as well as on our Facebook page, and we're at chathamhistoricalsociety.org. We are open. I'm very proud to say we're open to the public. We have been since July 8th. You do have to make reservations ahead of time, but we have tours where you can, some of them are self-guided and some of them are with a docent, so you have lots of options. It's about an hour and a half to get through the museum. We have a gift shop and very comfortable grounds and facilities. We do ask that people wear a mask in the building, and we follow very strict protocols with the pandemic right now.
Well, that all sounds wonderful, and thank you so much, Danielle, for being here today. I encourage all of you to go visit the Chatham Historical Society website or to go see their exhibits in person and to learn more about the Turning Point exhibit and their other exhibits as well. So thank you, Danielle.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here, Joanna. Thank you.
I'd like to share an invitation with you regarding Eastham 400's other series, the Campfire Series. The Campfire Series is a series of hour-long presentations each Sunday in July and August that delve more deeply into some of the topics that we discuss here on the Sunset Series. I am happy to share that 2 of our campfires will be held in person. On Sunday, August 16th and Sunday, August 30th, these campfires will take place at the Eastham Windmill at 6 p.m. Presentations feature John Hanlon, who has led the campfire programs at Cape Cod National Seashore for the last 20 years, and Linda Coombs of the Aquinnah Wampanoag tribe. Admission is free, but registration is required. You can sign up for these events using a form on our website, www.eastham400.org. We are looking forward to these events and hope to see you there. Thank you.